Hey everybody, it's Karen with Food and Family. Today I'm going to show you how to whip up dry cake mix so you'll have it on hand for when you decide at the last minute you want to bake a cake or a cupcake. I'm going to show you how to do that mix. I'm going to show you how to do a brownie mix, and also I'm going to show you how to do a red velvet cake. So store them in a nice storage container and put the directions, and you've got it whenever you're ready. You don't have to run out to the store to buy cake mix or pull it all together. You can just scoop, mix, and go. So we're going to start. I'm just going to mix this all up in this container. And I'm using self-rising flour, White Lily self-rising flour. Now, if you want to use all-purpose, you can. You'll need to add baking powder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out 10 cups of self-rising flour. And I'm sure I don't have enough in this canister, so I've got more. So let me see, let me count. That's 3 and 10. Okay, so that's our first. So to this, I want to add 6 cups of sugar. 6 cups of granulated sugar. We're making a lot of cake mix. Okay, and then to that we're going to add 1 1/3 teaspoon of salt. You like my new measuring spoon I got? It's so neat. So I got 1 teaspoon. I'm eyeballing, and that's about 1/3. Okay, and 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. So, and let's put that right there. Let's move that out of the way. You can use shortening instead of the butter. And what we're going to do is I'm going to try to get this mixed up as well as I can. I'm going to try to get this mixed up as well as I can. I'm going to use 2 knives to try to cut this in here. Get it out of my whisk. Yeah, this is so convenient. So you may decide at the last minute, I want a cake for my Sunday dessert. I want a cake for take to my friend's house. We're going for dinner. You know, any reason, and you just don't have the stuff to make it, and you said, I don't want to pull out the flour, I don't want to pull out the sugar. Well, you know, it's already done for you. You just measure it out. Now, if you want to, you can put this in a processor. You can put it in your big mixing bowl and let it run through, and it'll get real fine. But I'm just doing it like this. Come on, use a large spoon and get down in here and mix all of this together. When you decide you're ready to make a cake and you go to measure out your flour or your cake mix in this case, you don't want to have a little of this and a little, a whole lot of that. You want to make sure you've got a good, even amount of sugar and flour. And I think I have got this together pretty good. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure I've got that bottom. Get what's on the bottom to the top, right? And let's let that settle down a second before we do it. And that's your cake mix. That's your cake mix. Now, what I've done is I've made a card. So when I get ready to make a cake, here's what I'm gonna do. And I'll put this in the description box under this video. I'm gonna use 4 cups of this cake mix, 3 eggs at room temperature, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1/4 cup of butter softened, and 1 cup of milk. Then I'm going to add all that together in the bowl, and I'm going to bake it at 350, 20 to 25 minutes for an 8 by 8 pans, or 30 to 35 minutes for a 9 by 13 pans. Okay, so let's say you want to make an orange cake. Same thing. You're going to add 1 teaspoon of orange zest and 1/2 teaspoon of orange extract. Leave out the vanilla. Same thing with the lemon. 1 teaspoon of lemon zest and 1/2 teaspoon of lemon extract. Now you can also use this to make a chocolate cake. So you would add 2 tablespoons of milk, 2 squares of melted chocolate, and 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Mix it up, follow the other instructions, and you've got a beautiful cake. Bake it cool, frost it. And it's less work. It's already measured for you. Take a few minutes, measure it out. So I'm going to set that aside. Now what I'll do is I will tape this card to the top of my container here. So when I'm ready to make my cake, I've got my instructions. Okay? So now let's make red velvet cake mix. So, sorry about that, I had some glitches. So what I did was, this is my red velvet cake. And I put 2.5 cups of flour, 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 cups of sugar in this zippy bag. It was too much to fit in a quart-sized mason jar, so that's why I chose to use the bag. I've inserted the card to tell me how I'm going to make this cake and what I'm going to need. All I'll need when I get ready to make it are eggs, oil, buttermilk, vanilla, and some red food coloring. And I'll bake it for 40 minutes. And it's that simple. I'll put all of this in the description box below. And these are simple enough. I can store them on my shelves. And I don't have to worry about it. When I'm ready to make a cake, I grab my mix, my other ingredients, and I'm gone. Okay, so we want to make a brownie mix. And I think I can get this in the mason jar. Let's see. So I've got my recipe written down right here. So in this mason jar, I'm going to add 1 cup of flour. Again, I'm using self-rising flour, 1 cup. Then I'm going to add 1 cup of cocoa powder. Let me get a new box because I know that's not enough. I always try to keep a box of this on hand because I never know when I'm going to have a hankering for brownies or anything else chocolate. 1 cup. This is a 1/4 cup measure. So I'm going to do 4 of these. 1. And last one. I had a mess to clean up. Okay, so that's 1 cup of cocoa powder. Then I want 2 cups of sugar. And if this doesn't fit, you know what? We'll add it to a zippy bag. it does, it's going to be tight. Okay, 2 cups of sugar and 1/2 a teaspoon of salt. Where did I put my salt? 1/2 of a teaspoon. Now, I've got a card here. So when I get ready to make this, all I've got to do is add eggs, butter, vanilla, stir it together, and bake it. So let's see if I can get this closed. Get this lid on here. Yeah, that'll pack down a little bit. Looky there. Brownie mix, but isn't it pretty? And I will tape this to the side. Now, this will make a 9 by 13 pan, or you can make an 8 by 8 or a 9 by 9, and I have the directions to cut the recipe down, the quantity down for that. And again, I will link that in the description box. So here we go. I have got a red velvet cake, I've got brownies, and I've got yellow cake mix that I can make several ways. So I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, please let me know. I thank each and every one of you. I appreciate you so much. Please like, subscribe, and share to my channel, and I'll see you soon.